VCW Virginia Heavyweight Championship.
One of two big main events here at the Liberty Lottery 2024. Jason Heat alongside Brandon Metheny, Esquire, and a little on edge when this man enters the building, as he has had a tendency to put his hands on, well, me. But his Olympic season right now, and the Greek god Papadon feels a little bit of extra pressure to perform and win the VCW Heavyweight Championship tonight, given the season, given how important the history of the Greeks are with regards to the Olympics. He has yet to ascend to the Mount Olympus of VCW. Longtime holder in the past of the Liberty title. But this would be his first time as the VCW Heavyweight Champion.
In this match, the first man to score a pinfall or a submission will be the winner and the VCW Virginia Heavyweight Champion. When the bell rings, the man in charge, VCW Senior Official Ron Mills. Introducing the competitors. First, standing to my left, he hails from Corinthos, Greece, and weighing in at 231 pounds, the Greek God, Papadon. Silence! Introducing challenger number 2, hailing from Robbinsdale, Minnesota, weighing in at 191 pounds, Mr. Xcellence, Brandon Scott. And finally, hailing from the true naval capital of the world, Annapolis, Maryland, weighing in at 233 pounds, he is the reigning and defending VCW Virginia Heavyweight Champion, Tom G. Joseph Keys.
Papadon getting a bit ahead of himself and grabbing the title. That still belongs to Joseph Keys. And it will until someone is pinned or submitted in this match.
The Alpha and Omega of professional wrestling and the next VCW Virginia Heavyweight Champion.
There's a bit of a tug of war now happening, and as Joseph Keys was watching Papadon's initial entrance, he clapped a bit. There was some respect from Joseph Keys to Papadon, and Papadon not extending any respect. Brandon Scott taking advantage of the moment.
We have 3 extremely experienced competitors in this ring. The current VCWA champion, a former VCWA champion, former Liberty champion. You take your spots where you can hit him. You try to win this match fast.
I was saying while you were in the ring, this is a bit of an all-star game here in VCW. Brandon Scott making a big return to the ring, and so far showing no sign of ring rust. We were wondering how his absence could potentially affect him, especially given that he was a last-minute call-up for this match.
Absolutely, and you also have to wonder how the absence of Devontae, who presumably Papadon and Joseph Keys are preparing for, how that impacts this match. Totally different competitor in Brandon Scott. So a lot of unknowns here. And also, of course, we've seen Papadon and Joseph Keys tag very recently.
They all know each other very well. We've seen Papadon and Brandon Scott go at it before, and of course, Joseph Keys absolutely hates Brandon Scott. Keys has been a bully to Brandon Scott for years. The two of them training together in Maryland, and now Brandon Scott looking to submit Toxic Vascularity.
And Joseph Keys showing his strength there, keeping Brandon Scott. And now it's locked in. It is now fully locked in.
Joseph Keys doesn't have to do a lot to show his strength. It is the incredible bulk for a reason.
But right now, he's in the middle of the ring, and he could tap out right here unless Papadon can break this up.
And if you're wondering why Papadon decided to interfere despite no love lost between him and any of these men, it's because this is not an elimination match. This is one fall to a finish, so there is no champion's advantage to Joseph Keys. He can lose his title, Brandon, even if he's not involved in the decision.
Absolutely, and that's why Papadon was incentivized to go break that up, because if Joseph Keys taps Brandon Scott, match over, Brandon Scott's champion.
It also works in Papadon's favor, though, to not only allow Joseph Keys to be worn down, but also to see if Brandon Scott can kind of tire himself out. It's in any triple threat, it's a matter of timing and it's a matter of vision. You got to keep your eyes not only on the prize, but also on all the other competitors.
Well, and also, I mean, you mentioned that Brandon's been out of the ring for some time. You're right. Thus far, he's not showing any ring rust, but the real question is his conditioning.
His cardio.
That's the
right.
one thing you cannot really train for unless you're actually in there in matches. The longer this goes on, the worse you think it's going to be for Brandon Scott.
Brandon able to take advantage of that opportunity. A tense stare down between Joseph Keys and Papadon. But as you mentioned, they have been acting as a tag team, so can they work together to decimate Brandon Scott, basically turn this into a one-on-one match with the two of them?
Yeah, that seems to be their plan. Like you said, it's not an elimination match technically, but if they knock Brandon Scott out, then it basically becomes one.
They are two of the biggest egos in the company, and Joseph Keys caught sleeping. Papadon almost took the win.
Yeah, Joseph Keys playing to the crowd. Didn't notice Papadon go for the cover there. Brandon Scott kicked out. If he hadn't, we'd have a new champion right now with Joseph Keys asleep at the switch.
Joseph Keys considers himself to be the locker room leader, but of course, Papadon with more experience than anyone in this match, 20 years doing it at some of the highest levels.
I'm also not sure if the locker room would agree with that assessment of Joseph Keys' locker room.
No. They may not agree, but it's not safe to say it. The locker room has been walking on eggshells ever since Joseph Keys became champion and decided to mentor, in quotes, in his own unique fashion.
That is a very nice word for it, but he's been a successful champion, and we've talked about this before. He may have gotten the championship through dubious means with the help of the Reason and Jerry Stefanitsis, but the man has defended his championship and has done an impressive job doing so.
For two men who have blazing hot tempers and egos the size of skyscrapers, it has been a minor miracle that these two have experienced tension so far, but no outright flare-ups of hostility between the two.
But you gotta believe it can't possibly last, not with these two.
It only has to last long enough to incapacitate Brandon Scott permanently.
That's very true, and this extended vertical suplex by both men, Brandon Scott is really just getting thrown from pillar to post here.
Brandon Scott's blood pooling in his head, causing disorientation, discomfort.
I just want to point out, Joseph Keys offered a handshake to Papadon there. Papadon did not accept it. He dropped a fist drop, which is a good move, but Joseph Keys seems slightly annoyed at this.
Joseph Keys has been extending far more civility to Papadon this entirety of the night than Papadon is extending to Joseph Keys. You gotta wonder how hot Papadon is over the fact that both of the men in the ring, both Brandon Scott and Joseph Keys, have held the top prize in this company, and Papadon never has.
Well, I think that's exactly the key. I think it's the fact that he has never had that goal. And, you know, as you said, he's got a decades-long career. That also means you start to consider what's your legacy. And I think that Papadon worries that without the top prize in PCW, his legacy is incomplete. And both men going
for a tie.
And I guess Joseph Keys would retain the championship there?
This is not elimination.
And it looks like we're having a little failure to communicate occurring right now. Papadon offering a hand, Joseph Keys trying to make peace.
Trying to make good on the disrespect from earlier. Joseph Keys and Papadon. Now the super egos.
Oh!
Both of them, great minds think alike, and so do these two.
They're counting. Either of them put their foot down. Clearly both of them want to win. Both don't really trust each other.
Well, they have similar worldviews, so at least they're coming at it from the same place. And you gotta wonder, if you're Brandon Scott, are you regretting having picked up the phone and accepted this match? I mean, obviously, you get an opportunity at a title, let alone the title. Wow! Just crushing the sternum and the lower ribs of Papadon.
Yeah, and just pushing it back into those ropes. We talk about this all the time, folks. Those ropes are not rubber bands.
Wait! Keys going for that keys to victory, but Papadon had it scouted. Maybe the most dangerous move in the company.
And both men take each other down to a knee. Brandon Scott slowly ascending the ropes.
Doing everything he can under the situation that he finds himself.
All three men really getting the worst of it right now.
Can Brandon Scott capitalize? The answer is no.
Just
for Brandon.
Just too much taken out, just too slow getting up there. And frankly, not a great strategic position. You got to move fast in this kind of match.
Greco-Roman back rake on display by the Greek god Papadon, who says wrestling is in his DNA.
Well, this time of year, and this time of every, I guess, 4 years, Papadon really seeing wrestling come to the forefront.
As mentioned before, it is Olympic season, and Papadon feels a little bit of extra pressure to prove that his people are the foremost professional wrestling athletes in the world.
Papadon looking to take out both men at once here. Oh, unlikely teamwork potentially.
Joseph Keys sitting on the electric chair, sneaks out the back and almost knocked Brandon Scott again, but Brandon able to maintain his balance under adverse situations.
Joseph Keys sent to the ring post. Brandon Keys still maintaining his balance, or sorry, Brandon Scott, maintaining his balance. Papadon did not know he was there. Big cross body. Brandon Scott suddenly back in this thing.
Had an opportunity to rest, and we just saw, I don't know if Papadon is spitting teeth or just losing fluid, but he is in rough shape right now. Self-described greatest VCW champion of all time, looking to become champion yet again. Brandon Scott knows every match could be the last match.
Brandon Scott saw Joseph Keys coming, got up, and Keys ends up dropping a fist on Papadon.
Brandon Scott knows this is a huge opportunity, as everyone is tonight, looking to do it for Dirty. This whole evening dedicated to the memory of Jermaine Robinson, our friend, former VCW champion.
And Brandon Scott looking to make his mark here on history. Flying to the outside, taking Papadon down. Brandon Scott back in the ring.
Why go for one when you can go for both? It was a 2-for-1 special on
But he's got to pin someone. He needs to pin someone to win the match.
Do you think it matters to Brandon? Does he want to make sure that he pins Joseph Keys because it's different when you pin the champ, or
I
does
think
it
he
not
wants
matter?
to be the champion. I think that's all that matters.
I don't know. I think Brandon Scott's the kind of guy that at this point wants to not only just win the title, but wants to get that victory back. Joseph Keys defeated Brandon Scott to retain that title.
And Joseph Keys crumbles to the mat. Brandon Scott.
This is why it's all about timing. Slice of excellence!
Oh, this could be it right here. Brandon Scott can get the cover. That's it.
You were right. He's willing to go after whoever he can. Two for Papadon. Has too much time elapsed. Yes, Joseph Keys had enough time to recover.
And bad luck for Brandon Scott that Ron Mills had to go around the two of them to make sure the shoulders were down. Just in time for Joseph Keys to kick out. Still very much anyone's fight right now. Brandon Keys in the advantageous position, but still anyone. Oh, here comes Papadon.
I know. This is that. Please
don't. I don't want any trouble.
I don't touch me.
I don't.
Do not.
Okay.
He's got the belt.
He's got the belt. It's not his. That's not his.
That is not good. Yeah, of course not. Well, that's a factor. That is a.
It's a no disqualification. It's a triple threat match. It's no disqualification.
Papadon, the first one to realize that he can take advantage of that situation, and now seemingly hiding, lying in wait. Brandon Scott got close to the line and didn't even realize it. Powerbomb by Joseph Keys. Keys looking to take off the head of Brandon Scott.
And just about does. This could be it right here. Papadon is getting the ring. This could be over.
Sliding in, pulling Keys off. He's going to try and take advantage of Keys' handiwork.
Hey, that's an effective thing to do. Just pull him out of the ring and beat him from pillar to post.
Well, effective is not the same as ethical.
Hey, it's a triple threat match. You win the match however you can.
And now,
top prize in the business, Jason.
This is the worst nightmare situation for Joseph Keys because he's not involved. He has no ability. He has no agency in this moment. Either Papadon or Brandon Scott could take the title, and Joseph Keys will have nothing to do about it.
This could be right here.
Sliding lariat, and Brandon Scott, with authority, gets that shoulder up, and we cannot forget the Virginia Heavyweight Championship is now in the corner of the ring waiting to be used.
Papadon getting a little too hung up on that not being a three. He should press the advantage here. Stay on Brandon Scott. This is his best opportunity with Joseph Keys down on the outside.
Not just a professional wrestler, proving to be an adept arithmetist.
Mathematician?
Sure.
Okay.
Certainly I'm not.
And an adept kicker as well there. Kicks to the front and back of Brandon Scott.
Brandon Scott has really taken most of the punishment in this match, but now doing good on defense.
Devastating backbreaker into a reverse DT. This could be it.
Great positioning there by Papadon, even though he couldn't get the 3, put his feet, his whole body in between Brandon and the ropes.
Look, there's no question, Papadon's ring IQ and skill are both off the charts.
But he has a blazing hot temper and he throws tantrums. Oftentimes, Papadon has a great stretch in a match and then doesn't get what he wants and basically becomes a child.
Ron Mills noticing Papadon has that championship in his hand. Ron Mills does not want to allow him to use it, saying, Ron, he's a senior official here.
The referee does have discretion in the alpha and omega of professional wrestling.
Oh, and just a blatant low blow, sending Brandon Scott to the outside.
Strategy there, getting the referee's attention off, and Joseph Keys is nowhere to be seen. Joseph Keys is nowhere to be seen.
Oh, and Brandon Scott just pops that shoulder up at 2.5.
The top G is going to have to get up and get back into this match, or Keys is going to watch from afar as his title is taken.
Speaking of which, Keys has his title now. He has a scary look on his face, Jason. I think he is ready to just end this right now.
This is the Joseph Keys we have seen. Ruthless, vicious, cares nothing for anyone, and now he is in the sights of Ron Mills.
And Ron Mills once again intercepting that championship. And Papadon gets clocked with the championship belt.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer fella.
But I mean, Joseph Keys now in the perfect position.
As
Brandon
you said,
Scott is there for the picking.
You got to take advantage. Got to take advantage of the situation.
Oh, roll up!
Wait a second, Brandon Scott! Brandon's going to go for the upset.
Brandon closer and closer.
Now a backside, just trying everything, but can't out-muscle the incredible bulk.
And then just straight right hand.
Keys to victory, keys to victory. Brandon also had it scouted. At this point, people know that move. They know that finish for Joseph.
Brandon gets sent to the apron. Yet another potential DDT coming here.
And how will Joseph Keys be able to execute his signature attack when he can't even move that left arm? That shoulder may have been dislocated.
Brandon Scott potentially looking for that Scott Buster, the slice of excellence. Wow, impressive athleticism by Joseph Keys there.
Fighting through the pain, great leaping ability. These two really don't like each other, Brandon.
Not even a little bit.
So personal.
The Scott Buster.
But Papadon in, taking advantage. Wait a second, Papadon! Good Lord! It is a dark day in VCW as the Greek god has climbed the summit to Mount Olympus and is casting his shadow over all of us. Papadon is your new VCW champion. You can't even argue it was on a technicality. He pinned Joseph Keys, the current champion.
He did. Papadon wrestling a smart match, picking a spot at the exact right moment. And with that showing, at least for tonight, the Greeks are the best as we have a new Virginia heavyweight champion.
A devastating loss for Joseph Keys, and now a changing of the guard. Every member of the Liberty Lottery has a completely different target. In a matter of moments, the landscape has changed and you are being summoned, sir. The champ has the power.
Virginia wrestling fans can't take this championship, polish it with your tears, and shove it up your wazoo. Because I didn't do it for you, I definitely do it for you, you got that. I did this for me. Now you will see the true reign of the Greek
The reign of terror has begun. Papadon, now Lord Supreme over VCW.